tour. I know everybody that views my videos is excited. We've gotten a lot of requests for more Pinhoti Trail videos, so we're bringing Aslan. And it's been a little too long since I've been backpacking. Been since March, or whenever I posted the last video. And I need it. I need trees around me, I need to be rained on, I need to be uncomfortable. We are right on the border between Clay and Talladega County at this picturesque gas station. In about 15-20 minutes, well, probably 10 minutes actually now, we're gonna hit the trail. And we're gonna walk from Bull's Gap north to Porter's Gap. And it's a long section with no reliable water, so we've actually got 2 gallons of water we're carrying, which is heavy. But it's gonna be all right, it's gonna be a workout. Aslan's got his backpack and he's carrying 1 liter of water himself. You're such a good pop. This is the first walk that Aslan's gonna do the whole section with us, so we'll see how he likes it, hopefully pretty well. I'm excited. All right, we're on the trail. How much water are you carrying?
You better have very skinny legs by the end of this.
Take a cheesy family picture so I can make a cheesy.
You like your backpack?
No.
No, but I like hiking. But for this particular section, there's a good, like our whole first day and a half probably, we won't have any water accessible, short of rain, which is supposed to do tomorrow. So we've got a lot of water. That's what most of this space is filled up with, is extra water. But it's good because we've gotten the base weight of our pack down so far that it still weighs less than what I used to backpack with. All right, 18 miles to Highway 77, Porter's Gap. That's where we're heading. It's nice to be like on a road, you know? Like you're going somewhere. You've got a journey, a goal in mind. I love trails regardless of what kind they are. The first 2 miles of this particular section of trail is a steady uphill. So, we've been feeling it so far.
We're drinking our weight off.
We're getting lighter every mile. Definitely feels better than it did in March. What we're in right now is a Longleaf Pine plantation. This is what the Forest Service and the biologists are slowly trying to make the whole forest into. These are very old, slow-growing trees. These are probably close to 100 years old, if I was guessing. Regardless, this is what eventually the whole forest will probably look like. Old growth longleaf pine. So Aslan's a 50-pound dog. No idea what breed. But he weighs about 50 pounds and has a kind of thin and muscular build. And the large is a little bit too big for him. It looks very well made. Aslan's not too bothered by it. So we did weigh it to make sure it was balanced properly. These are Virginia pines here, which grow on top of these mountains. You can still hear the road way off in the distance, but I hear crickets. Like, we're pretty well down or up in the forest here now. Gosh, you're adorable, both of you. I'm really excited to be back out in the woods. Got all the fall leaf litter forming. Starting to give me visions of Thanksgiving sweet potato casserole. Even with my significantly increased fitness level, Marianne still walks considerably faster than I do. And of course, Aslan's in has a very good power to weight ratio. He's a big fan of fast walking. But we're actually gonna follow the top of this ridge, which is easier walking than walking along the side of it, but it's still oftentimes, there's a lot of rocks, a lot of kind of ups and downs. I love being on an adventure. I love being in the mountains. I love you. Just over there is the road 600, Forest Service 600, which is a pretty decent off-road expedition trail. And maybe we'll do a video on it one day if we do it camping in the Land Cruiser. I don't know if you heard it during the last video. On those big hill climbs, we would just say all you have to do is make it to the next trail blaze. And that's kind of our whole motto for life, is all you got to do is make it to the next signal that you're on the right path. One sign to the next. One trail blaze to the next trail blaze. And that's all you got to worry about. And eventually, if you keep doing that, you end up somewhere completely different than where you started. Now the forest has changed yet again. I think these are huckleberry bushes that are giving us red leaves on the ground here. About 2 hours in, you start to notice the way that your backpack is rubbing against your belt in places where one may have had calluses before that are soft from sitting in a paramedic classroom instead of hiking. But that's the biggest part of the experience, is learning to be okay and happy and enjoying being uncomfortable. These switchbacks through here. Switchbacks here in this piney wood. A little rock shelter. I sure do love my family. We're all settling in a homely manner. That's a pouch of salmon there. You could put it in boiling water and warm up the salmon. But one thing to remember with the jet boils, I do almost every single time I use it at least once, is that it's called jet boil for a reason. And if you don't pay attention to it, it'll boil right over, especially if you overfill it a little bit. It's Patagonia. In a pouch, and you just stick it in there, boil it. Man, your opinions?
It's good. It's gone.
Good.
Probably my top 3 salmon ever, actually.
Good morning. We are soon to be back on the trail. Rained a little last night.
Good.
We didn't sleep as well as we have in the past camping, but I think it's just because
I slept fine.
me and Aslan didn't sleep as well. But that's okay. I slept well enough to...
I slept like a rock until like 6:30. Aslan didn't want to wake up this morning, but we started taking the air out of the pads. So we gave him breakfast to make up for it.
It's probably not bear safe to feed him in the tent, but I think we only have like 4 bears in the entire state. I don't think so either.
We're expecting a bit more rain though.
Yeah.
So. He's so perfect. So was he.
We woke up this morning to some pretty thick cloud cover. And so now it looks like the world just ends right there. It's my breakfast on the trail. We're on the road again. It's foggy and misty. Got 10 miles to go. Boulder like looks like an alien spaceship landed or something. It's probably a good view out that way, different weather. The mountainside's disappearing into the mists below. The morning of the second day hiking can be a bit of a difficult walk. Legs are a little stiff, feel a little tired. But on that same note, it's got a lot of atmosphere. You can't hear cars or anything from the city anymore. I'm still having fun. But undeniably, it's a little bit harder walking today. You're eating, but you probably shouldn't be. think it is actually raining again now. I think this is Horn Mountain also that we're sort of skirting the side of here.
Power line.
And one of these directions leads up to the Horn Mountain Fire Tower, but I think the trail is down that way. Yeah, sounds reasonable. My legs are awful wet. The air is just wet today. We're now beginning the descent towards Scott's or Jogalama Lake, depending on which map you look at. It should be generally downhill from here, although not completely, but generally. These are younger longleaf pines than the ones we were seeing yesterday. I think I've read that they spend about 50 years in the grass stage, like this lowest one down here, which is a long time if you think about it. Everything is soaking wet today, but we are well on our way. Our big viewpoint campsite region. The rain has picked up. It's gotten colder because the wind has picked up with the rain. It's kind of becoming one of those embrace the suck type of situations. But it's still nicer to be here than other places. It's just cold and wet too.
That could have been bigger.
We walked right past where the trail turns back off of this road. There's a big microwave tower over there. It's been raining a little too hard for me to film much, but we're still making steady progress. It's about 11 now. Hasn't stopped raining. And a mental challenge, even more so than the physical challenge. Really starting to come down the mountain now. Got switchbacks. Yep, no shortage of rain. We've got many of these switchbacks that we've done. But this is going to be really good practice for the AT, because I think it's going to be like this a lot of the time. Embrace the suck, next blaze, just keep going. So, hiking's not always beautiful sunsets. This part has just as much, and in some ways more value. There's actually a lake through the trees down there. We're probably gonna stop there and eat lunch, even though our brains are telling us to keep pushing. My Knowles training tells me I need to stop and eat. I can make better decisions. Much more than maybe 4 miles at the worst. And we can do that easy peasy. We've got this one blaze right here, and then no further information as to where we're supposed to go. So we're just gonna follow this road. I don't know if the trail crosses the creek there, but we can't see any blazes on the other side. Well, about 200 yards down, we found these 2 blazes, but I don't know, maybe it would have seemed more obvious if we weren't so cold and tired and wet. Alright, we forded the creek successfully. Now we just gotta make our way up to the lake, which I think this is the dam of. The reports didn't lie, there's a lake here. This is the end of a 13-mile stretch with very little reliable water. There's a random set of stone stairs right here and a wall. We just hung up the rain fly over the steps and I'm not gonna lie and tell you guys that I'm not pretty miserable right now. But pretty miserable is an important part of the process. A little higher in the forest. Looks like it may have once been a cabin site. Aslan doesn't seem to want to come up in here under our, where we've got the rain fly set out. So he just looks miserable. I'm sure I look exactly like that too. If it were an option, I'd probably give up now. One of the good things about backpacking is that you can't give up. The car is at the end of it, so I'd still 100 times over rather be here than be at home playing video games all day, even despite all of this. The rain has soaked through my pants and filled my waterproof boots.
Oh, did you see them?
I see one looking out over there. You can't see it in the camera, but there was a whole family of raccoons that just walked up the trail there. And
Mama's leaving her babies behind.
I think she's trying to distract us to follow her. We're in the last mile. Man, that's one behind that bush up there. We did see some raccoons, so that was cool. There's light at the end of the tunnel. The road right away. Highway 77. We started here. Walked past those things.
Far ago.
Now we're here. That's the road right up there.
And our car is right in there.
What do you think, Aslan? You ready to go home?
Yay!
I love you. We're almost there. It's been hard.
It has definitely not been easy. There has been some suck to be embraced.
We have grown today as people.
And I am very, very, very damp.
My organs are wetter than they used to be.
I feel like I went swimming in all of my clothes.
Aslan is drying himself off. Wow, am I right?
Yeah. He has some.
He deserves all the beef jerky. Well, we're soaking wet. Objectively speaking, that was miserable. There's really no way around that. But sometimes there's a lot of joy that comes from misery. And I would not have traded doing that for anything else that we could have done this weekend. You just got to be aware that waterproof works both ways. But there came a point where the rain was so soaking and so thorough that there was just no winning. I'm glad we're the kind of people that can find something that should be miserable also fun. Things can be fun and miserable at the same time. Just because it was miserable doesn't mean it wasn't fun, but just because it was fun doesn't mean it wasn't miserable. Bless you. But it was Aslan's first hiking trip.
It was his first backpacking.
Yeah, first backpacking trip. What am I saying? Hiking trip.
He goes hiking and he goes camping. It's his first time doing them both.
Yeah, he did really good as far as I was aware.
Yeah.